Hi, I'm Karen. We're here at Montevilla Sewing Center, and today we're talking about the Pfaff Select 4.2. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do quilt piecing. So quilt piecing is like you're doing a quilt and you want it to look with your pieces together like this. Now, when you're quilt piecing, you want to have an even 1/4 inch seam on all of your seams. That's really important to get a very accurate 1/4 inch seam. For that purpose, I would recommend that you get a foot like this. This is the 1/4 inch guide foot with a guide on the right side. This does not come with your machine, but if you do a lot of quilting, I'd really recommend getting this foot. It'll make quilting a lot easier. To set up your machine for quilting, just start out by setting up with regular straight stitching. You want your stitch width on 0. You want your center needle position, and of course G is going to be your general purpose sewing. Now for quilt piecing, we want to move the stitch length down to about 2, and that's important for quilt piecing because you want a shorter stitch length because you're not doing any back stitches anywhere in your piecing process. If you don't have to do back stitches, it speeds things up. A shorter stitch length is going to keep those little seams from coming unstitched right at the end there. And also, if you're not doing back stitching, if you do back stitching, it puts more thread into the fabric and it kind of gives it a little more lumpiness. You want everything nice and even and flat. So, shorter stitch length, that's pretty standard. And then this foot with a little guide on the side. Let's take the regular foot off, put it right down here in the accessory tray, put this one on, lower the foot to put it on. Now what I like to do, have that foot down and just lower the needle just to make sure that the needle's not going to hit the foot. With these feet that have a narrower hole in the middle, you need to make sure the needle's not going to hit anything, even though you've set it up correctly. Okay, so we've got our 2 pieces of fabric here, so cut rough, but cut in a straight line. Lift this up, put the edge of your fabric right along that guide there, and as you start sewing, keep those fabrics lined up, and this is where you're going to be watching right here to keep that lined up right next to that, so it's just barely touching it. And of course, when you get to the end, usually you'd have like a leader. You could sew right to the end of your fabric and onto another piece of fabric. Lift this up. Ideally, these would be at the same length here. And that way you've got your seam right to the edge of the fabric using this leader fabric. Okay, so let's do the big test here. Here I've got my 1/4 inch seam allowance, or seam gauge set on 1/4 inch. There it is, perfect 1/4 inch. That's the foot you need for sewing your perfect 1/4 inch seams on your quilt piecing. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful. If it has, give us a thumbs up. And if you have comments or questions, you can leave those in the area down below. We have lots of other videos on this machine and on other machines here at our Montevilla Sewing Center YouTube channel. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye.